Yo, what's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real Cowboys fans, stand up. You're now tuned into the CFO Sports channel. So if you are new, do us a huge favor. Comment, like, subscribe somewhere down there. And be sure to turn that notification bell to stay updated with all Dallas Cowboys news and content. Well, looks like we got a lot to talk about, Cowboys Nation. A lot to talk about. So I had to call in the big dogs, man. And these guys, they ain't no guests. They, you know what I'm saying? They are not new to this channel. These are my brothers in this Cowboys content community. They are killing it. They are doing their thing. I respect them to the utmost. So I had to bring them on tonight. We're going to talk draft. We're going to talk everything Dallas Cowboys. So CFO fam, give a warm welcome to my guys, Boss Cowboy and Big Game James in the building. What's going on, fellas?
Man, I just feel good to be sitting here with a celebrity, man. My boy Jay Tuck, man. I just feel good, man. That boy celebrity, bro. You know what I mean? That boy, you know.
He all in the news.
You know, everybody can't be just
people
across the world right now.
He getting ladies in their feelings. I'm like, let's go.
Hey, man. Hey, what can I say, man? What can I say? I do a little bit, man. But like I said, this past week has been crazy. I didn't expect it to go the way it did, but it did, man. But like I said, at the end of the day, it brought spotlight on all of us. You know what I'm saying? Because almost 3 million people clicked on my Twitter profile. And so when they see me, they see all of us, man. Hey, so it wasn't just a win for me. It's a win for all of us, man. So salute to Brittany Rayner, man. You know what I'm saying?
Say, man, listen. I got to say this, man. I'm Team Jay Tuck all the way. And I also want to say this. Jay Tuck, we had a conversation behind the scenes. And I just want to echo the homie. And he said this, and this goes out to everybody. Y'all take this. If you know anybody that ever sung that song, I Don't Want No Scrub, you cannot participate in this conversation.
Right.
If you was ever with the girls and y'all was enjoying it, singing along, as he said, as the homie in the passenger side and best friend ride, trying to holler at me, I don't want, if you said all that, then you shouldn't have nothing to say about Cam.
Facts, because a lot of y'all don't know. Back in the day, boy, you used to feel some type of way when your homeboy like, man, I'll drive us to the club. Nah, I'll drive, fam. You know what I'm saying? I'll drive, you know what I'm saying?
See, Jay, so what if I'm also got a car, but I just so happen to be in your car?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Hey, you wouldn't get chose at the club. See how they did us, man? See how they did us? But now things started turning a little channel, so they tried to attack Cam, man. But like I said, it was crazy, but it is what it is. I'm appreciative of all the opportunity, man. So I'm going to start with you, boss, for the people who do not know where to find you. Go ahead and let them know they can find you, my guy.
Yeah, Boss Cowboy Sports, man, especially on YouTube and on Twitter, man. Both of those are growing exponentially, man. I'm having fun just rocking this Cowboys content.
Yeah, absolutely. My boy is over here killing it, especially killing with the draft. You dropped the book, dude. Draft book, too.
Yeah, man, I just dropped the book, and I'm going to be finalizing all my ranks this week and dropping it on Twitter as well as YouTube and Facebook. I spent the last couple of weeks kind of debating out some of these ideas, and I'm still open to debate. So the book is even not final yet. It's going to be final literally 2 days before the draft starts. I'm going to give myself that much time to really finalize my last couple of film debates that I'm having, even with myself.
Right. Because a lot of people don't know, bro, the draft is a process. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I always suspect a lot of people's work, because they don't understand the grind that goes into it. And that's why I brought y'all on for tonight specifically to talk about the draft, because I know y'all roll up your own sleeve and y'all really do y'all homework. Y'all just don't be shooting stuff, you know what I'm saying, just to be saying it. Big Game, my guy, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you.
You can check me out on YouTube. You can check me out on Facebook. I got my own sports page on Facebook. Same thing, Big Game James. You can check me out on Twitter. All three handles say Big Game James. Just trying to do the grind, trying to have fun, keep it real, and, talk some good Cowboys football.
Yeah, exactly. My guys are killing it, man. So, all right, we gonna talk about it. so let's go ahead and get right up into it, because I already see everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody in the chat. Let's go ahead and address it. So, when you are in the media, you gotta move delicate, especially with situations like this, because at the end of the day, a life was lost, and so we don't want to rush to any judgments. But it seems like Dallas Cowboy corner draftee from last year, Kelvin Joseph, is involved into an incident which could lead to some issues. So there's video circulating out there. The man that scrubbed his entire Instagram. The chains are out there. It's a bad look. Big Game, I'm gonna start with you, bro. How do you feel about this when you heard the news about Kelvin Joseph?
Frustrated, really frustrated more than anything because well, number one, life was lost.
Right.
That's the worst part of all this. You know what I'm saying? And just I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of seeing professional athletes get caught up in something like this when you don't have any business being around any of this stuff. Once you get to a certain level, whether it's sports or professional, you got to kind of let go of some people. You got to
Mhm.
let certain hanger-ons let them go. As the company you keep can bring you down.
Mhm.
And I'll say this, and I was telling Boss Cowboys this. We did a show when Kelvin Joseph got drafted. It was me, Boss. I can't remember who else, but it was Sky and was somebody else.
It was
We
the
happened to get on
OC
the
in
subject
law.
in law, and
Yeah.
when we got
We
on
did
the
a
subject,
Voltron show.
yeah, we did a Voltron show, and we got on the subject about Kelvin Joseph,
Mhm.
and I was not trying to dog him or anything, but what I was saying was you had red flags prior coming into the league. You had these red flags, and red flags are real. When you just ignore the red flags, they come up and bite you later on in the professional ranks. We've seen it happen when people take players that have red flags and they think, oh, we can get them together, or we can make this happen, and then 2-3 years down the line you see these things that came up in college start resurfacing in the pros. And all I was saying was it wasn't about his rap career, but you've already had red flags. You're coming into Dallas where the spotlight is all over you, so you're gonna have a lot of pressure. And I was just worried about, I wasn't saying anything bad would happen to him, but I was worried about him because just the company that was kind of keeping, especially Tuck, you said it, you was in the rap game.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? When you in the rap game, when you rapping, it brings a certain type of people around you too. My son, my oldest son is a rapper,
Right.
and it happens. The company changes,
Mhm.
and it's kind of disheartening. We'll have to wait till it all plays out. But I don't know, Tug and Boss. I'm just really frustrated more than anything because a life is lost, and you have the potential of a young player once again in Dallas
Mhm.
with some kind of major trouble, and that's just really disconcerting.
Yeah, I agree. And Boss, me and you did a show when I kind of spoke about me personally. I used to be in the rap game, and when you're around that environment, there's people who ain't even rapping, right? But they just around you, and sometimes the things that they get into, it lingers on to you. And I think the most frustrating part, like I said, I don't want to rush to judgment saying it was Kelvin Joseph, this and that, until the facts come out. But when you watch the video, the frustrating part is whoever it was walked past the dude, you know what I'm saying, said something back. They started throwing hands like it's some drunken rumbleness. It was over. You know what I'm saying? These guys is walking to their car. It's over. Just leave. You go your way, I go mine. But then they air out shots at these people and take a live, not only with athletes, bro, but we see it too much. Just, in general. I know here in Kansas City, it happens frequently. I'm sure where you at, Boss, and also Big Game, it happens frequently there, man. And it's just senseless violence that doesn't need to happen. But then you add on top of that Kelvin Joseph. And I was with you, Big Game. I was one of the most vocal people last year during that draft. Everyone who watches my channels and others know I was not for that pick. They knew where I wanted to go because I felt the other player that was available was going to be more NFL ready. And when you're scouting players, you got to have the mindset, can I trust you with the keys to the kingdom? We fathers, we parents, can I trust and leave my house with you and leave you occupied and know you're going to do the right thing? And I just never felt that with Kelvin Joseph. Now, I eased up and said, okay, he's young. Let me give him the opportunity to grow. But there was just things I continuously saw, even throughout last year. I was just like, it's a bad look, right? And then here we are. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. But it's a bad predicament to be in. Boss, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, one of the things that I would say one of the things is he chose. So that's one of the key things that is sticking in my head today. From what's coming out, it looked like somebody that was with him actually shot this person, right? And if that's the story, and if that's what happened, then at that moment, he was at a major crossroads, okay? He had a choice. And the choice was, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna let the police do their job because one of my friends acted reckless, okay? Or you choose to keep it real route, which is a lot of times in our community where we sometimes say stuff like snitches get stitches and stuff like that. And so people have all this pressure then to keep it real with people that act foolishly, and then with the way these laws are geared up, you go down with your foolish friend.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just keep it all the way 100 right now. At this point, it was just like when Witten retired right before the draft. You have to, at this point, look at corner as a need now. So we went from having 4 to having 5 just because we don't know how this is going to play out. And it's at the very beginning stages of it being plastered. Then you add on top that he scrubbed his Instagram, right? Which is going to make more people ask questions, right? Which it could be innocent, who knows? You know, because a defense team is real, right?
Right.
There's the standard of law called above reasonable doubt. So if there's any kind of conflicting story that could get him off, obviously his defense team should be able to potentially do that. But at the same time, because nobody knows, draft is now cornerback serious.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Just like you said, when it came to Witten retiring during the draft, like it backs you back into another corner, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so it's like, so it's like here we are. So like I said, I don't want to rush the judgment. We don't know what everything kind of unfolded, but if you're looking at it, it looks bad on Bossman's side. And like you said, bro, he chose, because think about it, the incident happened way back in March, right? And so if you kind of follow him on social media, I mean, he was still rapping, posting money like nothing happened, you know? So it's like, you know, it's That's just
wild.
one.
Hey, can I address a comment real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my boy Lil Saint he say, but boss, come on now. We all know snitching ain't even an option. At some point, snitching is an option.
Yeah.
See, we got to get off of that, bro. Now, listen, I'm finna talk grown man.
Go ahead. Yeah, because I think it needs to be heard. It needs to be heard.
We got to talk real grown man business right now, okay? So if you with me and I had no intentions of getting into violence, right? And you get into violence and you're my friend and you shoot into a crowd, you are going to jail that day. I don't owe you nothing, bro, because I'm the one that's in the NFL. I'm the one that worked for this opportunity. I'm the one that's getting ready to be in the spotlight. You're going to be a footnote in the story.
Right.
You made that decision.
Right.
So at that point, sometimes we go be faced with a crossroads, and this is grown man business we talking.
Right.
Jake Tuck and I did a show. This is straight up.
Right.
And he talked about in his life that he was at a crossroads to where somebody that he just so happened to go get some food. I remember the story, Tuck. He so happened to get some food, and then the guys he was with, one of them got clipped. For those who don't know, he dead. Jay Tuck had a decision right there. I'm going to go corporate. I'm going to go grown man. I'm going to stop hanging with this crowd because that action came to me. I didn't go to that action. That action came to me. You see what I'm saying?
Had nothing to do with me.
He had nothing to do with it, but he could. So it's all this street. Listen, at some point, we can't keep giving criminals respect. At some point, we got to call it what it is. You're a criminal and I owe you nothing. Because them same criminals is the same people who filled our community with crack, ran it all the way down to the ground, and everybody didn't want to snitch on nobody, so everybody community went down.
Right. Fact.
Yeah.
That's facts. And I think that's the message that a lot of people need to hear. Like the street cred, the streets don't love you, bro. They do not love you. Because I can guarantee if that pressure gets hot, they gonna mention Kelvin Joseph's name. Oh yeah,
they gonna snitch.
Yeah,
they gonna tell on you. They always
y'all trying to give me 50. Y'all trying to give me 50. All right, man. What can I do? Can I do 14? Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they gonna, but you know what I'm saying. But everybody in the rap community want to live by this street cred and this and that. All right, it's gonna catch up to you. So, you know, it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see how things play out for Kelvin Joseph. But it's extremely unfortunate. This kid had so much tremendous upside, you know, on the field, you know, as a football player. But stupid decisions and people you're surrounded can put you in bad situations. And as you grow,
hey, Tuck.
You got to move on.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to bounce off you what you were talking about when you said in the beginning, because I was following your train. You're the one that brought up, because you're a Florida State guy, and you were mentioning Asante Samuel Jr. You're the one that put him on the radar to me when we were looking at cornerbacks. As soon as I saw him, and obviously his father, but as soon as I watched him, I was like, okay, yes, that's the kid we need to go get. You know what I'm saying? Because not was he just pro ready. The main thing that I was he was mentally ready.
Right.
Wasn't that he was just pro ready. He was mentally ready, and you didn't have to worry about that on-field issue. That was the thing that was just bothersome, because I ain't gonna lie, just from my perspective, I don't, players can be on Twitter. That's their prerogative and things of that nature. But I ain't gonna lie, during the season when I was just watching things, and I'm not saying all this now because this happened, this was my feelings the whole time. I just didn't want to stay quiet because I didn't want to just cause no ruckus. But I ain't gonna lie, it would bother me when I was always seeing him on Twitter. I was like, is this game really important to him? You always on Twitter, like as soon as game over, you tweeting right after.
Right.
It was just like, is this really the focus? You feel me? That was always, and if you looked at it, I didn't know if football was always the main focus in his life.
Right.
And that's why I said, yeah, you rap, but if you're playing this game of football, you got to put that energy and effort into that, and you have to be one-minded, because you can't be distracted to the left and right, because you can fall off that quick.
Right.
And then, like I said, man, just the current events. And then I didn't even know, Tuck, you said this happened in March, because this is all new to me, just hearing this. That's just even more disturbing to me, that this happened then and you just went about it like it was nothing.
Right.
There's
nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's the crazy part. He's just been kind of minding his own business, you know what I'm saying? Posting the same thing. But like, the funny thing was, I was literally about to go on, well, I wasn't going to post it on Twitter. I was going to keep it in the house. But, Asante Samuel had went live the other day, and he was showing his training, getting ready for the season. And I was going to post one player's live going ready for the season, and another's live promoting the album. But I went to Kelvin Joseph's IG, and there was only one photo of him, the new #1 jersey. And I was like, well, why did he get rid of all his pictures? But it didn't register. You know what I'm saying? So he was already kind of detoxing. But going back to Asante, I just knew he was always going to be focused on football. Some of these draft players that's going to get drafted here in 2 weeks, they made their go. They got their money. They're stacked up. They now the leaders in their family. They provide, and they are good at that point. But some players want to be more. They want to be great. And Asante has that name he has to live up to. Asante don't need no dollars. His dad's a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? So he's playing for something more than just a paycheck. And I just felt like when you watch Kelvin Joseph, it was all, he made it. He got stacks. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of lifestyle he wanted to live. And like I said, it's unfortunate to kind of see it fall flat, but you got to tread lightly when some of these players are getting these type of contracts and type of deals that they're getting at the NFL level. So, here's what I think is going to happen. Somebody, if y'all real G's, y'all, know the vibe, y'all real ganged up, somebody gonna have to fall on that sword for him. You know what I'm saying? Someone gonna have to bite that bullet. Like, listen, man, it was my gun. Kelvin Joseph wasn't in the car. Because his car, it was in a rap video. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, someone's gonna have to fall on that sword and probably hold it down for him. That's the only way I see that he gets out of it. But, we'll have to see, man. Anything else, boss?
Yeah, we getting ready to see. That's gonna be the test right there.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is one to roll.
Right.
And the way that the system works is the first to roll is the one that get the leniency. So all it take after click is one of them to be fake.
Right.
Just one. And then everybody else go get the hammer.
Right.
That's exactly how the system is set up.
Right.
So if they really click tight, if they really mafia, if they really, whatever they claim, like really affiliated, there should be an order in the code.
Right.
Like if you're going to be cold enough to where the kingfish, which is boss man, didn't sing on you, well, somebody got to be willing to not sing on him.
Right.
And it's just what it is. So that whole clique getting ready to be tested. But the fact that all these dominoes just fell is not looking good.
Right.
For boss. But at the same time, we got to let the justice system work.
Right.
Right. Because the defenders are real, big time defense teams are real. So all this person got to do is go up there and give some really quality stories on why boss man probably felt the need to go away, because it could have been, I thought something happened to you. They can come up with a story to bend it to reasonable doubt.
Right.
And also, just keeping it real, he should have some of the best attorneys because he's affiliated with Jerry Jones. Right. So
Jerry distanced himself now.
Yeah. Do you think Jerry's gonna want to get involved with this?
I don't think Jerry wants to have any parts of that.
It wasn't like it was Micah. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
All right.
Let's talk about it. So remember Brent.
Yeah.
Right. Brent who killed his I think it was
that's
his best
different
friend.
in my opinion.
It is different. This is violence. But at the same time, Jerry, in my opinion, does have a history of not rushing to judgment. Just me, you know what I mean? And if he comes out and he starts seeing details that's not in alignment with him being guilty, he go back you, just like he did Zeke. He didn't walk away from Zeke. You know what I mean?
But that was a breadwinner, though.
But then here's the difference, though, boss. Zeke was a favorite son, and he still is a favorite son.
Right.
Kelvin Joseph, I didn't see nothing where in the Cowboys media or they felt like Kelvin Joseph was a favorite son.
Right.
So now you already had that trouble past and already had that near you. Now you have this. I don't see Jerry jumping in. He might wait till the facts play out, but I don't see him saying anything about this.
But I'm gonna tell you what Jerry go do. Jerry go give him some referrals.
He might get some referrals on the low,
right.
He ain't gonna be talking about. He gonna distance himself from this.
You need,
right? Hey, because they'll mess around. They'll mess around and take a corner here in 3 weeks and put a new number on his back and spin the whole narrative and then just be done with it. You know.
But at the same time,
I just feel like
I would fight for my asset. Because let's keep it real.
I just feel like they're gonna go in a different direction. With this coming out, it just in my heart, I just feel like they're gonna really move away from this and say, "Hey, you on your own, kid. You gotta figure this one out."
Right.
So you wouldn't fight for the asset? You wouldn't put your defense team on it?
Not for this bit. Not with this bit.
On this one, boss, because of the history, I would just stay on the quiet. I would already be looking in the draft. I would just move away from it. I know it's a second round pick, but we ain't gonna die because Kelvin Joseph ain't on the squad no more.
Right. Diggs, yes. Kelvin Joseph, nah. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at.
And if you look at his year, especially the off field, but if you look at his year, he didn't even get in there until toward the end of the year. So there wasn't really no surplus on his rookie year.
You're not really tied to him. In their mind, he's just a special teams player. So it's just like,
well, I would say this, because he's a premium pick, I think they should put resources behind him, but quietly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they play
quietly.
Right.
You know, just like fight for him behind the scenes, use your resources, use your political resources, just being real, right? Being real, like the judges that owe you favor, all of that, put it to work. You know what I mean? Try to get this dude back on the field. Yes, it was stupid. Let's be real.
Right. It was real stupid. Right.
It was dumb. It was young and dumb. It was hood thinking. It's hood keeping it real thinking.
Right.
But at the same time, maybe this could be his wake-up call. You know what I mean? And I'd rather him get a second chance than be thrown away for somebody else's dumb shooting.
Right.
Just me keeping it real. Just me keeping it real.
Right, exactly.
Sometimes I don't think the system should just snowball you for a stupid moment. You know what I mean? Because you can get affiliated with that murder just because you the one drove away, and it can just follow you. Like some of that stuff is, to me, that was a momentary lapse in judgment, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason.
Right, exactly. Well, let's go ahead and get into it, because someone said at least Jameson Williams can wear that number 1 jersey.
Y'all know I love him.
Let's go ahead and get into it. So the NFL draft is coming up, and we had some 30 visits, but Jerry Jones came out and spoke to his subjects the other day and talked about the possibility of moving up. So, boss, I'm going to start with you. If we are going to move up in the NFL draft, who's it going to be for? Who would you consider risking a little bit to go get?
I like the sit put strategy, honestly.
Okay.
It would have to be somebody like only a Jordan Davis. That would probably be it. Everybody else, I'm sitting, not making one move, bro. You know. So, but when I heard his statement, the key thing is he said is the first 3 rounds too, right? And I think this is what's going on. Let's just keep it all the way real. This is a draft that's not like our previous drafts. In the previous drafts, we had quality BPA set up, right? Even if we didn't draft people, we all felt at least
good about what we had, right? This draft is obvious needs like we've never seen.
Right.
So in the previous drafts, that's why we haven't made a major move up since Mo Claiborne, and you could even throw in there Tyler Biadasz, who we traded with Philly. So we haven't made any moves because we stayed put, and that's been our draft strategy. But because we have needs, real needs, receiver, guard, now corner, tight end too, right? You have to go get your guy. And sitting around letting those 5th round picks just sit there, you should stack those and then try to be aggressive for the first 4 rounds to address those needs. So I think Jerry was this is what I really honestly believe Jerry was doing. All of us being, I would say, ladies' men in the past at some point, right? And you chose
at some point. What's up, Brittany Rayner? You still today, man. Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, Brittany Rayner, all of my boy Jay Tuck, celebrity Tuck. That's celebrity Tuck.
We still do
but all of
something.
us have been ladies' man at some point, right? And you've chosen a woman who didn't choose you, right? But then it was a legit reason why. She had a man, right? So when she becomes available, she gives you clues. So that's how Jerry and Dallas was. They wasn't the move down or move up types. So all these teams over the years that been calling them been getting shot down because we've been staying put. So sometimes you got to send a signal to say, hey, we in the dating market. We willing to move up because now we don't have no boyfriend. We going into this draft with needs.
I can see that. So, but there's no clear player that you would say is worth going up and moving besides, you say Davis?
Just Davis.
Just Davis.
That would be the only one because the domino effect of Davis is just so exponential.
Right.
Everybody else, I'm letting fall. Guards fall, Dean falling, receivers falling. I'm cool with everything else falling. But when you get that once in a generational talent, that Micah Parsons freakish type of stuff, you go get that. You know what I mean? But the rest of the guys are guys you go see every year, in my opinion. You go see another Dean, you go see another Burks, you go see that's Sutton, right? You go see those types. You go see these guards, Zion Johnson, that's Hernandez, right? It's the same stuff every year, right? With those guys. So I stay put with those. But only Jordan Davis in the first. And if it's one of your guys that is a guy that you targeted to be a potential starter, round 2, round 3, then I'm packaging everything on the back end to move up to get those guys that's going to give me my starters.
Let me ask you this, Big Game. So I know a lot of people, because we didn't do nothing in free agency, let's keep it a buck, right? So a lot of people are aiming for the NFL draft as kind of to fix all the Band-Aid for this season. But what I've been trying to explain to people, traditionally when we don't draft in the top 10, you know what I'm saying, where it's like pretty much dummy proof, the Cowboys really hasn't hit incredibly well in these drafts. And so I feel like what Boss was saying, us being where we're kind of backed in the corner, we have all these needs plus picking later in the draft, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. Like, do you feel that same way when you kind of look at where the Cowboys stand, that we're going to have to actually break from that sit back and wait kind of mindset and be a little bit more aggressive and go get the core players that we need to plug those holes?
I mean, I've said it from the very beginning. I said this like about a month ago that you got 9 picks. We lost more than we gained in free agency. Obviously, we've seen that, and I feel that hurt us. I said this was the optimal year for the Cowboys to be aggressive with their picks. You got 9 picks to play with, just like y'all been saying. If you want a guy y'all really like, and especially in those 2nd and 3rd and 4th rounds, there are going to be some guys that probably might be a couple picks ahead of you. Now you got those extra picks from compensatory and things. This is the time to go get it. If you like a Jelani Woods that y'all been screaming about, if y'all really want him, then if it's close, then go get him. Package a pick and go get him. Don't just sit and wait and say, oh, we like him. Oh, somebody got him. We'll go to the next guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't feel like.
I mean, because if you go back to last year and to talk about Kelvin Joseph, they was high on Trayvon Moore and let the Raiders just jump right in front of them and snake them and kind of let them. So, yeah, I agree with you.
I just, I don't like that. And then just what you were asking Boss about, is there one guy in the first round? I agree with him. I mean, Jordan Davis, we've seen that size, and you just don't have those combine numbers. And he matched it with the play on the field. He wasn't just like a workout warrior. He matched it with the play on the field. So yes, if that's a guy that, and we need that one tech. We know we got Bohanna, but we get that strong one tech, it really changes our defense. So yes, you really should go out there and be aggressive this year. You weren't aggressive in free agency. And here's the thing, Tuck. The draft is the Cowboys' lifeline.
Right.
So why wouldn't you be aggressive? This is what you build everything on. This is the time for you. Go crazy in this draft and get hella aggressive and get people you want. But as far as the draft at 24, I will also say this is that this isn't a star quality draft, but this is a hella depth draft.
Right.
So at 24, I feel like if you don't get that player that you maybe want to move up for, there are going to be guys that you're going to be able to get that's still going to really help your team right now with the depth that's in this draft.
Right. I agree. You know what I'm saying? I'm personally team trade back if possible because I feel like you can get a lot of core pieces in this draft if you hold off and wait. Now, last year is a different topic. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to risk it all for some of them players, you know, Jamar Chase and Pitts and et cetera. But at this, like, when I look at the wide receiver core, and I'm going to ask this, toss this to you, boss. When you look at this Dallas Cowboys team as it's currently structured going into the draft, what is that key hole? Because that's the conversation that everyone's Twitter. Like, nah, Tuck, you can't draft a wide receiver. You got to get a guard. You can't get a guard because you need a wide receiver. You can't. So when you look at this team, what is that main hole that you got to make sure that we fill with a high caliber talent that can come and have immediate impact?
The main hole, because I'm gonna just answer that question.
Oh, here we go.
Say, man, you don't be doing that, bro. You try to sway the jury, dog. You can't be doing that, bro. The main hole is linebacker, bro. Middle linebacker.
Okay.
Not just any linebacker, middle linebacker.
Okay.
For a couple of reasons. Number one reason is we got to protect our queen. Which is Michael Parsons. Protecting his versatility is the main reason that we have to get a middle linebacker. And then you look at the fact we lost Jalen Smith, and then we also have Cox coming back off of ACL, which is basically getting ready to be a rookie. And then, you know, we also don't have Neal anymore. So what does that say? That says that LVE is getting ready to go from weak side linebacker back to the middle linebacker. And then when you look at our opponents and you look at the fact that we got 9 running opponents, heavily running opponents,
Derrick
do you
Henry.
really think, Derrick Henry, Taylor, Gibson twice, Swift, Jones from Green Bay.
Whatever the Eagles trying to do, you know.
And the Eagles are running the ball now with Sanders. They are. That's 9.
Don't you think, boss, that we need to get that big guy? Because we could have linebackers, but you know, linebackers aren't a premium like they used to be. And this we've talked before that this draft is filled with a lot of good linebackers. If you solidify that front, because it don't matter if your linebackers is good if you can't stop that front. And we were still going through that. Dallas gave up over 100 yards a game, and that middle of the defense was still a problem. And we don't want, in my opinion, I don't want Gallimore playing the one tech again because he's more the 3. He doesn't never really get to rush the passer, and that's not really his forte. So it's really taken away from him. I feel like we need to get that one in the middle. And I'm not saying we get the one tech as far as first round, but that needs to really seriously be looked at. And I just feel like a linebacker, we can get that linebacker, and hey, you never know. I still gonna mention Anthony Barr. He's still out there. You could still grab him. You still got money to do it. Remember, Dallas waited for a long time to get Everson Griffin. Remember, we were all screaming about Everson Griffin.
Yeah, it's gonna be a second round of free agency.
And then at the last minute, Dallas scooped him up. So that could be something that you could still fill with a veteran instead of jumping out there and getting that linebacker in the first round.
And that's what I'm not saying.
Because I feel like you can get a linebacker or 2 in this draft.
And I'm not saying get a linebacker in the first round. That's what I'm not saying. See, what I'm saying is just what's the top need, right? Like what's the thing that could just break us down quick, right? And the reason why I'm saying linebackers because let's just think about Parsons. If he just had to play middle linebacker because of an LVE injury, what was his best impact? When he was rushing, when he was going forward, right? So if you put him at middle linebacker, you might as well erase half of his sacks.
Right, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So it's one of those things that we got to protect the queen. So I'm just saying in importance, that's the most important thing that we got to feel, but I'm not saying that you got to do it in the first round. So I'm more so saying this, if Dean is taken off the board, okay, then pick Zion Johnson or then pick Green or go pick somebody else that's gonna fill another need, because then the volume of linebackers between round 2 and round 3 are serviceable enough to then patch that band-aid. But what happens is it becomes priority round 2 if you don't get it round 1,
Right. I agree. Now let me ask you this, big game, like, because I had this whole dream about Dean and Parsons way back in January. So when you watch Nakobe Dean, is there anything that concerns you? Because I know a lot of people like, Tuck, he's too small. And it's the kind of same things we heard about Nick Bolton before he came to Kansas City and kind of tore things up. When you watch Nakobe Dean, is there any red flags that would kind of draw you back from making him the first round pick?
I mean, for me, as a player, I like Nakobe Dean, but for me, I was trying to go as how the Cowboys think. When I look at all their linebackers, what's Parsons, 6'3"? What's Jabril Cox, 6'3", 6'4", LVE, 6'4", Luke Gifford, 6'4". I just going by how they trended and how they're looking, and I'm just like, they haven't gotten any short linebackers in a while. They love those long guys in length, and he doesn't possess that. So that's why I'm thinking now he's a very good player and he could buck that trend. From me, I don't see those negatives, but I also see that he was protected by that front in Georgia. Okay, he had that amazing front with those 3 guys up front that really made him look good. Does Dallas have those guys up front like that to protect him to do that? So that's where I'm like, I don't know if Dallas jumps out there and do that, because they don't have the front like a Georgia did in college to really protect him. So I don't know if he's the guy, and I know they like length, and there's plenty of long, big linebackers that they can get a little bit later. And you've seen how, even when you just talked about we were going to discuss the 30 visits, who did they bring on the 30 visits? It was Devin Lloyd, 6'3", and Quay Walker, 6'4". They didn't even bring Dean in. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if they go after him, not even for his negatives, but they're going to look at that size and say, well, we can get a bigger guy with probably maybe those same attributes later, and we don't have to jump out there and get that.
Right. They're big on that.
See, and this is my thing, and I definitely agree with you. He does not fit the prototypes of the Quins, the length guy, right? The athletic guy. But that's why I want to go against the Cowboys on this. And I want to challenge them to stop being so measurable, restrictive, that you ignore playmaking. So like Tuck went through that last year with Asante Samuels.
Right.
Yep.
Tuck went through that same damn argument.
Right.
Oh, he little. Those other corners are 6'1".
Right.
Man, but
can he play?
But can he play, bro?
Right.
And if we get Dean, we get a guy that can flat out play, and we get a doable middle linebacker. You protect your queen. You get a guy that's a leader. You get a guy that's going to definitely gel with a Michael Parsons. You know what I mean? It's so many dominoes that fall into place with a Dean, and he is the guy. And to me, the one guy that's the stand apart linebacker. You know what I mean? So the rest of the guys are in the pack to me. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. That's why I say just him in the first round. I want to throw this out here just to throw a major curveball
everybody
on
in chat, we already talked about the boss man thing for about 30. Everyone just now getting that news.
We're doing that again.
Everyone just getting that news.
Rewind.
I got to rewind.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Get at a review.
Run it back.
I'm for moving down if my guys are wiped out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
And gain an extra pick.
Yeah.
Yes, because see, we gained an extra third moving down just a little. Well, that was obviously because we was in a premium place last year. But picking up that extra third to get Deshaun right was from moving down one spot.
Right.
So, like, if we wiped out, we need starters. Those starters are going to be between round 1 and round 3. Get you some extra second and third round picks. Move down. Everybody want to move up. Somebody got to be willing to move down.
Right. And I think you're starting to see some of these quarterbacks heat up a little bit. So that might be opportunity as well. Now, I'm going to transition over to the offense. Yeah. Come on, Malik Willis. Do your thing.
Man.
Get all of them. Yeah, come on.
Get all of them.
Get all of them.
I ain't falling for none of them. I ain't falling for not one.
Yeah.
I don't like none of them.
Hey, it was the first year I can kind of skip through the quarterbacks, man. I was like, nope.
Didn't even look at them like,
I was trying to
for the book. I hated it.
I was trying to force a feel like, nah, I don't like him either. Carson Strong out of Nevada, nah, I don't like him. You know what I'm saying? So I skipped out through all them quarterbacks. But I'm gonna go over to the offensive side of the ball. So the conversation is offensive line. So I know the left guard is the spot everyone's talking about. Me personally, y'all, I don't think Connor McGovern's going to go out without a fight. So if you're going to get a guy in there, you're going to have to get him early that can really push and challenge him, because I think the Cowboys are going to try to give him another year. But the conversation has also been kind of coming about taking a tackle. Would you guys consider taking an offensive tackle if a Penning or a Cross was to fall to you? But my question is, how do you stash him? Because like I said, as soon as we got Parsons last year, what happened with LVE's health? He didn't miss not one damn game. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if we draft a tackle, you already have Steele as your right. Tyron Smith ain't gonna miss no damn games, and you're gonna kind of be forced to have your left tackle sitting and waiting in limbo. But would y'all consider taking a tackle, or would you just have to be strictly focused on the guard position?
Me personally, they brought in Cross. I mean, they brought in Cross
Right.
in their 30 visits, and they really like him, and he's a player. I like Penning, but I wouldn't do it at 24, not just me. And I know that he's a Northern Iowa guy. I don't see the Cowboys jumping out and getting a Northern Iowa on the first pick. That's just me. But I feel like that Charles Cross would be something that they would really look at. And I'm gonna just say, I don't think Tyron Smith, I don't care what LVE did last year. Tyron Smith ain't gonna be healthy. Tyron Smith gonna miss some games. I don't care what Evans and whatever. He gonna miss some games. And I feel like we gotta make that preparation for that, because I'm tired of hearing Tuck every single time he gets hurt. Oh boy, the Dallas Dolphins ain't gonna do nothing now. They can't block no more. They can't run the ball. They can't protect nobody. Because Tyron, no, I don't want to hear that no more. As soon as Tyron Smith get hurt or whatever, have that guy come in right now. Tyron Smith is trending down. He's not trending up any longer. I mean, we can't keep living off that. So I'm definitely cool with getting a tackle like a Cross and just roll with it, because I feel like dude has missed 3 to 4 games every single year for like 5 years. I don't feel like that trend is going to stop. And sooner or later, you got to get this guy, man. Tyron Smith ain't going to be here forever. I've been advocating, looking for that replacement for 2 years now. So I'm definitely cool, especially if a Cross and y'all like him. Yeah, I'm definitely cool with a guy, but I don't want no Penning at no 24.
Ooh.
Boss, what's your thoughts on it?
What?
When it comes to tackle, no, not me. I would rather us go ahead and get the guard, because I'm looking at the dominoes. You know, I just don't look at the player. I look at the other players that's impacted. So I think one of the things that'll help Tyler is to have a maul about him. You know what I mean? I think if you can really shore up that middle three, right, and get that middle three stronger, it's gonna really help Tyler. So I think you get 2 player improvements in one acquisition. That's why I would really, really focus in on guard if I was sitting there in the first and I had my choice. Now, I'm very high on Penning, though. I'm high on Penning.
Right, he's a dog.
I see the athleticism in him. I feel like he's cheap, though. Like, he does cheap stuff. It's not really dog mean to me when you hitting balls after the whistle. It's like, bro, show me.
A little nasty, bro. You know,
That's nasty, bro.
Nasty
Like,
here,
somebody
man.
gonna slap you in the league for that mess, bro. I hope he go to trade and Kelvin be trying to do late whistle stuff with Tank. Man, bro, he hit right in his mouth. Walk out quick.
Right.
And so it's fake tough to me. I don't like that type of tough. It's show out tough to me. That's just me, though.
Right.
But in terms of what my eyes see is a freak athlete, man. He moves so well to me. Now, some people don't like him. But it's one of those things. I didn't trust none of his tape, but I trust his Senior Bowl. You know what I mean? Because the talent he was going against and the way that he was dominating them balls was eye-popping. And remember, Steele got walked and mollywopped when he was in the Senior Bowl, and look what he turned to.
Right.
So all these tackles would be good, though. And I'm going to just be honest. I think Cross, in my eyes, is more of a second rounder. I think he's a first round in this draft more so because of the leanness of the tackles, you know? But I think he's good. He's technically good, but he's not your traditional just, oh, we must get him tackle, but he would be serviceable. My last thoughts on tackle is this. I'm curious on Ball.
Yeah.
I'm curious. And because of Ball, and I'm honestly sick of us getting guys bragging that there were steals and never giving them a chance.
Right.
What did they say about McGovern? He was the blinking light.
Right.
We had to get him at 90. What did they say? They tried to trade for McGovern. We wasn't gonna let him go.
Right.
When are you gonna give him his developmental reps?
Right.
Year 4?
Right.
So the same thing with Ball. What better development than you being a swing?
Yeah, I agree. Because also you got to think about it. Now our depth is kind of depleted when especially comes to the offensive line position. So we really don't have a swing anymore unless it's going to be Ball. But I really didn't hear much about Ball throughout the season. I know everybody was asking, like, what's up with Josh Ball? What's up with Josh Ball? But I guess he had an injury. I'm not sure how long that kept him out. So it's going to be interesting to see how he develops, coming to the offseason. So I think we still need to draft a swing. Now, when it comes to the guard position, do y'all think that it's between Kenyon Green and Zion Johnson and there's a fall off, or do you think that we can hold off a little bit and still get that guard? I see a lot of people mention Salyer, also mention Kennard, also Ingram out of LSU. So do you think that the value drops off if you wait, or is Green and Johnson really your instant impact starters, and then you might get some guys who are going to fight for the position a little bit?
Well, I'm high on Marquise Hayes.
I know you.
Big, was you gonna say something? Because I've been talking a lot. Okay. So, yeah, man, Marquise Hayes I gave him 3 stars.
Okay.
He was the only guard I gave 3 stars to.
Okay.
Because one of the things about him that I really like is they've been talking about wanting to get guys that have a mentality, right? So I'm looking at guys that got that certain dog mentality. After what happened to San Fran, my guys are more gangster guys. So
right.
I would want Zion
real
Johnson.
Gangster on the field, not off the
field. Gangster on the field, not off the field. I'm talking about guys that are real life bullies. They real like steel.
Right.
Like when you watch Zion Johnson, he's looking for work constantly.
Right.
Like he's looking to punish somebody.
Right.
Don't be around him. Don't be around no pals.
Right.
Nothing. Because he's looking to finish you.
Right.
So I want guys like that. I
my
want
guy
guys
Cole
like
Strange out of Chattanooga.
Yeah, Chattanooga. I want my boy receive out of Georgia. I want them types. You know what I mean? And so that would Marquise Hayes is that guy. And I don't think it's that big of a drop off, but you do. And I think the guy that's the most physically gifted is Zion. Athletically built, strong, everything. He checks the most boxes to me. So it's one of those things to where now I think I don't think because I like people like Marquise Hayes and stuff like that. I never panic if we don't get guard in the first round.
Big game. Looks like Mike. Let me see, Mike.
I'm good. Okay, my bad.
Good.
I would tend to agree with Boss on that. If you just look at a lot of the guards, I mean, Dylan Parham, Cole Strange, you just mentioned, Jamar Saylor, Thayer Mumford, Darian Kennard, who played offensive tackle, but you can slide him at guard. Sean Ryan, who they got an offensive tackle, but you can play him at guard too. There's a lot of guys, big guys that you can play at this guard position that they need that size, because one of the things we were all frustrated with Connor Williams was he's still only like 300 pounds is getting pushed around.
Right.
But we got plenty of big boys in here that can cover that middle. And so I don't think the drop off, or you feel like, well, dang, we didn't get Zion Johnson or Kenyon Green, this is over. I don't feel that, because I don't feel like the gap with Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green is so far from these other guys where Dallas is just going to be like, oh, well, dang, we got to settle. I feel like you can still get the guard a little bit later, because those guards are going to be available. Because even if you look at the offensive line as a whole, when you look at the position, even when you're in free agency, isn't like an offensive line guard is an easy position to fill, right? Like that's one of the positions we can always plug a guard in there right now and plug and play. And I feel like you can still have that in this draft. And Kenyon Green and Zion Johnson isn't the end of all guards in this draft, so Dallas can still make it without it.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell people that on Twitter. Like, this isn't the only 2 guards they got in the damn draft, right? So you can take a receiver and still turn around and get a quality guard. But like I said, you're going to have to get them quick, because I feel like it drops off. Now, I know a lot of people have been saying, Tuck, what about Tyler Linderbaum, the center? I personally don't think the Cowboys are going to move on from Tyler Biadasz, so I don't think the center is going to be in consideration. Y'all agree with that?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
And I wouldn't want him.
You don't want him?
I just wouldn't. No.
Why not? You don't think he's one of the best interior?
Yeah, he's one of the best interior.
Okay.
But I think I want our guys to develop.
Right.
It's like me and the OC was having a debate on the final word the other day. Remember that Big? And I was asking this question. I was like, what would Diggs be
if we gave up on him?
Would Diggs be year 2 Diggs if we didn't get year 1 Diggs?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like Neville Gallimore 1 tech wouldn't be 1 tech Gallimore unless he was first 3 tech Gallimore. You know what I'm saying? And he went through those bumps. So as fans, I think sometimes we got to understand that when you get these guys at premium places, you want them to develop. You also got to welcome that it's going to be bumpy.
Right.
Like we all know we wouldn't have got year 2 steal without year 1 steal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so many of these guys that we got to be willing to go through the bumpiness before they refine out. And so it's a couple of these players that I think we need to allow that to happen. And one is Tyler Biadasz. Because really he was injured year 1.
Right.
His rookie year was really year 2. When do you really see who they really are? Year 3.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want no panics, because then if you feel center and you add this major competition at center, you also got now still 5 needs that you go try to address in later rounds. That don't even make sense.
Right.
And plus, not to, they got the kid from Nebraska, Matt Farinock, from last year, and he played in a position.
Right.
But I made the tweet. It's just like, why does everybody want to throw Biadasz away? You know what I mean? Because if you looked at his numbers last year, I mean, I know people trip off the Pro Football Focus, but if you watch the game and you look at his numbers, he wasn't getting manhandled every single game. He wasn't getting destroyed every single game. He wasn't giving up 30 pressures and 15 pressures and 5 sacks a game. Yeah. We had this dude was getting destroyed every single game. And just like Boss said, and you, Tuck, we gotta, at some point in time, we gotta say, let's let these guys develop and not just say, oh, he wasn't great year 1. So
1 year, we had 1 year, one and done,
develop.
right? You know, Cowboys fan, because like I said, the way this free agency has been, whoever we get better get taken off to an early start, man. Because if we draft Zion Johnson or Kenyon Green, they get 2 holding penalties in their first game. Cowboys, man. I told you we should have went wide receiver. You know, but speaking of wide receiver, though, so this has been a topic of conversation, right? You mentioned Pickens, balls. Go ahead.
Just real quick, before you go there, I want to hammer that point just a little bit more, bro.
Okay, go ahead. We got time.
Because this is go really bring it home. Remember when Tank took off, it was what? Year 3.
Right.
What was we saying that offseason before he took off, though? We need a war daddy.
Right.
So because of that public pressure, who do we end up getting in the first round and reached for? Taco.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So even David Irvin took off year 3.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these guys take off in year 3.
Right.
So before you talked about receivers,
that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's why
give them time to grow. Not everybody's gonna have a Micah impact. You know, right?
And you got to use them like just to be fair to McGovern, bro. McGovern just now got some quality reps last year,
right?
And it was really 4 games, and then they just threw him away,
right? Yeah.
So he was a premium
because he came out the gate pretty hot in that game versus Tampa when he played at right guard for Zach Martin. He played well. You know,
great.
It takes
and
time
then what
to adjust.
People say he not a left guard. Well, you ain't let him cook.
Right.
So let's say it like this. What if we would have just threw Terrence Steele away the first time he stanked up at left tackle when he stank against Denver.
Right.
Now, right tackle, he's solid. Right. But left tackle, he needed to cook.
Right.
Didn't he need to cook?
I let it marinate.
So now about 4 games in, boys start saying, all right, he's settling in. Mm-hmm. He's settling in. Mm-hmm. But we had to go through that growing pain. So, yeah, man, we need to let Tyler cook.
Yeah, I agree. So I was going to go to the wide receiver spot. So a lot of people have been talking about, you mentioned Pickens, Boss. I mean, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, so many different names at this 24 spot. Do y'all think that we really need to address the wide receiver at 24, being how deep this class is? And the reason why I've been saying this, you got CeeDee Lamb, who you drafted in 2020. You just paid Michael Gallup. You just franchised Dalton Schultz. So whoever you bring in, I would think the expectation at 24 is your target option number 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but if you're looking how the Cowboys are currently structured, they might be 3 or 4th with options. That's not even considered Tony Pollard and what Zeke needs to get their touches. So do you think that the wide receiver at 24 is a priority, or is that the position that we can really wait on and get, maybe some of these players in the later round?
Me personally, I think we can definitely wait, but I like James Wilson.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think for me, Williams is the only player where I'll risk it all. I throw all logic out. You know what I'm saying? you know,
bro,
whatever.
I would risk it.
Right.
I'm risking it for him. I ain't gonna lie. I'm risking it for him.
And
We
people
don't
be like, him and Gallup coming off of ACLs, but hey, we gonna be one hell of a team to deal with in November. That's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, if we got him and they be like, why'd you do that? But man, when he come back, dog, y'all gonna see why you got him, dog.
Yeah, right around Thanksgiving when him and Gallup and clicking with CeeDee Lamb, it's going, you know what I'm saying? So that's where that's
well,
my
y'all
risk.
Y'all some gamblers, man.
I'm just saying.
Why not?
Hey, we've been crapping out regardless. You know what I'm saying? We've been crapping out regardless, bro.
Big balls.
Hey, at this point,
dog, boy, you boys is.
Hey,
ooh,
I mean,
I ain't never going to the casino with y'all, bro.
Hey, 2 weeks Vegas. Hey, go pull up.
I see you boys been big.
Yeah, but that game will go pay off.
Yeah,
later
it gonna pay out.
That mother sucker,
I
boy.
tell you what.
But you wouldn't do it, boss?
I would do it, but I would do it just like they did Boss Man, where you get Boss Man and you get his insurance right behind him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and that's just what you got to do with somebody with ACL.
Right.
It's just what you got to do. And this is a draft, you can do that. So if you do gamble with a guy like that, then go on target you Danny Gray in the 4th.
Right.
In the 5th. You know what I mean? And it's because I know in this draft, it's going to be some late round guys, mid round guys that's going to outperform first and second round guys.
Right.
This is that draft for Cooper Kupp all over again.
Right.
It's too many quality 4-3s. It's too many quality route runners. It's too many good receivers that's going to end up with quarterbacks that's really good, that's going to make some major plays, and they're going to ascend when they're in the league. And this whole draft order going to be rearranged by next year. So, yeah, if we did take a chance on the win, just get insurance. But in terms of your original question, was you finished big?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. But in terms of your original question, do we have to get a receiver at 24? I say absolutely not. I don't think none of the receivers really separate. I think it's all of them in the mix, especially because, see, when I wrote the book on the Boss Cowboy Guide, I break my receivers down into possession receivers, possession route runner receivers, and then just route runners. So in my book, I would want you to be able to kind of like, if you need a kind of slot guy, a two-way guy, then you can go really, search through my route guys. You know what I mean? If you need a guy that you really feel like go get you some points, then go find your route runner, red zone possession guy, route runner, you know?
Right.
So I think it's so many of them. Like Watson could easily be the best.
Play. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know me and Big Game spoke about Shakir out of Boise. Like, that's the perfect, because I feel like the Cowboys just need a slot. You know what I'm saying? Like that slot you can just plug in. Because we're going to talk about the next position dangerous. Here. Right, yeah, just that dangerous slot. That's all you really need. You don't need a weapon of mass destruction like a Treylon Burks. I feel like that's too much because that's what CeeDee Lamb should be used for. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get,
I wouldn't be mad at a Burks because with a Burks you're getting a playmaker.
As much as I like CeeDee Lamb, dog. I like CeeDee Lamb. But you got it. You can't say we don't need some explosiveness. We need receiver, dog.
Yeah, we do.
And I don't know some of these guys. I know we can get some of these guys because there's a plethora of these guys. But y'all know how it goes when one of them receivers start falling, like in the second round, they start hitting like dominoes, dog.
Right.
And I would be a little worried about that kind of happening. We need some explosiveness on that receiver. I think we need to at least double dip at the receiver position this year. I think that needs to happen because this is a speed draft.
Right.
And we need to get some speed. We need to get some explosiveness. We need people to fear that offense and not just, play us on the short route. We need to be able to take people deep, dog, and we're not able to do that, and we need to get some guys out there to do that.
Right.
And see, boys better believe in them SMU boys.
Yeah.
How many of them boys gonna come through and receive before we stop paying attention, big dog?
And they right there in your own backyard. Yeah.
In our own backyard, like Mr. Irrelevant, who killed Anthony Brown for years, right, with the Washington Commanders, was the last pick in the draft, and he been starting in that number 2 in the slot and doing his thing.
Right.
So yeah, Danny Gray, I don't know what people be tripping on him, my boy. Danny
Gray.
I like him.
Yeah, D-Town swag. I be trying to tell everybody, I don't like him. I'm like, who is telling y'all?
Andy from the D. And see, that's big. Boy, sleeping on that.
Right. From Dallas.
Now you from Dallas. He played for Dallas Carter, Dallas SMU, and will be a Dallas Cowboy.
Right.
Man, he will break his arm for this city, and boys got to understand that. Plus, he's a hands catcher.
Right.
He not and a route runner and explosive.
Right.
I agree. This draft is so full of cats that's gonna just blow up out of nowhere. It's crazy.
And be honest with you, I'll be disappointed if we walk out this draft without one. Because there's so many, as you mentioned. You can either go to Wandale Robinson out of Kentucky, like the list goes on and on. Jahan, you know what I'm saying?
Robinson,
like,
same man. I called him CeeDee Lamb part 2.
Yeah, he's so shifty. Just a gear. It's a gear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
bro.
to not walk out with one of them, we walk out with one of these big blocky wide receivers in this next position we're gonna talk about that you mentioned, tight end. So I'm gonna go over to the tight end position. I feel like there's a lot of meat on the bone when it comes to the tight end position of getting these guys that got what I call some wiggle, that can do more and just kind of be your underneath guy. So I'm gonna go to you, boss. When it comes to tight end, who are some tight ends that you looking at, man? Go ahead, give me your list.
Listen,
go ahead, and be warned, I got the mute button if you get wrong.
No, man, I agree with your tight end one.
Okay, all right.
I heard your tight end one yesterday.
Yeah.
He's my tight end one too.
Trey McBride.
Yeah, Trey McBride is definitely my tight end one.
Okay.
Now I listened to your show yesterday, man. I'm also high on Isaiah Likely. Yeah. That's who balls is sleeping on, bro.
Coastal. That's my tight end too. Yeah.
Ooh, that's your tight end too?
Yeah, tight end too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like Isaiah Likely because honestly, I don't think the league has ever seen anything like him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen a receiver that has a what's my boy that went to Denver that played for Bama? Jerry Jeudy.
Oh yeah.
He got Jerry Jeudy type sticks, bro.
Mm-hmm.
When he stick you, I don't see a linebacker being able to keep up with him.
Right.
Just being all the way honest, man. I just don't. But he's actually my third. He's my number 3.
Okay, who's your 2?
My number 2 tight end is Greg Dulcich.
Okay.
UCLA.
Either or, yeah.
So,
ice cream, yeah.
And what I loved about him more so was how he competed at the combine.
Mm-hmm.
He was the truest competitor at the combine, and his tape looked exactly like it. He looked like a guy that lives and breathes competition. I love the fact that he was in that combine, obviously trying to come out as the number 1 tight end. It looked like the rest of the tight ends was kind of going through the motions, except for McBride.
Right.
McBride was competing too. You know what I mean? So I think with those 2 guys, I saw true competitors. Right. And with those guys, you also got, especially with McBride, an overall blocker.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got a guy who take a lot of pride in the overall game of tight end. And you could tell that he's truly modeled himself from the San Fran tight end.
From Kittle.
Kittle. He modeled his game after Kittle. It's exactly the same, bro. From how they block, how they come out of their cuts, how they come out their breaks, how they try to be explosive tight ends, vertical tight ends. He is all of that. And Trey McBride, to me, is a no-brainer because he also was the man at Colorado State.
Right. And people forget, and they were primarily a run team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he still put up those numbers.
Yeah. Well, he's a feature tight end. So to me, he coming into the league with a swag of wanting the ball versus Schultz had to develop that. You know what I mean? He had to grow into that.
Right.
So in terms of tight end, that would probably be my top 3 in order.
And plus, these guys can push Schultz out the door. Cause I know Big Gang, you wasn't too high on Schultz, but we did franchise tag him. He didn't block us all on Twitter. Yeah, he blocked y'all yet?
He ain't blocked me.
I don't even want to touch his page because I know he's gonna block me quick as hell.
Bro, you ain't following me, bro. You don't block me.
I'm surprised they ain't blocked me.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I'm shocked.
As soon as I posted my Trey McBride video, he blocked.
Are you serious?
Wow. He's
I said this, bro. I said clear the room. I said it before they tagged him. I said get rid of all these tight ends because I was already working on the book and I was the tight end class, the receiver class, and defensive end class. I say the tight end class the best football players.
Right. I do. I agree. And James, I know you were out the Senior Bowl and you were saying you watched Trey McBride closely. Like, what is your thoughts on the tight end and who would be your tight end picks to bring in for Dallas?
Well, number one, I love Trey McBride, but I ain't even been talking about because I don't think that was gonna get him. So I just left it alone.
Gotta believe a little bit.
I'm like,
that's real.
He too good, dog. That was ain't getting.
That ain't what we get.
I hope he fall. I hope he fall.
Oh, he ain't.
Yeah.
He hit that 4 or 5, and that just cemented everything.
Jalen Watermere let us down. I was hoping Watermere could kind of stay up there. You know what I'm saying? And maybe like nah. Nah, it's clear.
Yeah,
He
man.
is,
And plus, when I was at the Senior Bowl, all his peoples were right next to us. From Colorado State. His fans was deep. But the thing that I was looking at, not just the athletic ability, the numbers. He had over like 90 catches. You know what I'm saying, and over 1,100 yards. He went crazy. But the thing I really liked was with all those receiving skills and what he can bring to the table with his explosiveness. Like Boss said, he really can block. Like if you watched him in his Senior Bowl practices, he really can block, and he really likes to block. He's not scared to put his mouth and face up in there, and that's what you want. Somebody who's not just can stretch the field and catch that ball, but he really likes to block. And I think that's why he's your number one tight end, because he's versatile. He can do everything. Now, if we're talking about a second guy, Jalen Watermeyer, I know he let us down in that 40 time, but he reminds me of a Martellus Bennett, dog. He went to Texas A&M too. He built like him.
Right.
He looked like him. And when you watch him play, he may not have that great time. But when you watch him play, though, he's one of them guys, might not have the 40 time, but he's a football player.
And,
I think
and that's why I was saying, as an agent, like if I know your numbers that you've been training with ain't that bro, we sitting some of these routes. We sitting out, bro. We sitting this 40 out. We sitting these because he was the favorite coming into the draft. And it's first like, all right, first round grade. Like he would have sat still, he'd have been perfectly fine. So his agent kind of messed him up because I seen him fall damn near to not even getting drafted in some mocks. It's like, but
which is crazy as hell. Cause see, let me ask you a question. What you gonna do with that, Tuck? What you gonna do with that? You got somebody that did got a first round tape, but then they got bottom measurables. Right. What you gonna do with that?
I'm taking the tape. I'm taking the tape. I'm a tape guy. I would take it.
First round tape with bad measurables, bro.
Right.
Because that's exactly what he is. I'm so glad you brought that up, Big.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly what he is. And see, another thing about players like him, I've coached players like him. I'm pretty sure
they're saying, nope, get Jalen out of here, bro. Ran a 5-second 40. That's all people care about. And so there's another player who we'll talk about here in a second. He had a great combine in numbers. He just jumped through the roof, and he only had 500 yards receiving. And then so it's like you can't let the combine and these numbers get y'all so googly-eyed. Trust the film. Are you a football player? And that's why I respect these guys, because we recognize football players first. Can you play? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if y'all attract me.
He can play.
Yeah.
Watch his play. He's a good football player. He can block.
You don't see no five flat when he runs.
Solid. Right. And if you had him next to Dalton Schultz, that would be a good combination, dog.
Right.
He's gonna push Schultz. He's gonna push Schultz for real.
The hell out of him.
I agree.
The only thing about Jalen is Jalen has bad body language. But those type of guys, I coach them type of guys. They have a body language that they don't care, but between them whistles, they 100 miles an hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can't read body language. You can't read like facials, do they smile and all that kind of stuff. Now, but I definitely, like in my mock that I did the other day, I picked 2 tight ends. We did that.
Send me what? And they talking my language. You know what I'm saying? People get mad at me when I take one. Oh, you took them too early. I'm like, hell, man, I'll take Trey McBride in a second and not lose no sleep.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
I picked Jake Ferguson, right?
I like Jake.
But Jalen was sitting there, bro. Yeah. If he's sitting there in the 6, bro, I'm getting him, and I'm gonna create this competition. Right. And I'm then if that competition looking real nasty and sweet, then I'm gonna rescind that tag.
Right on Schultz.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, here's the thing with the tight ends with me. You know, you just mentioned Jake Ferguson. I really liked him, and his 40 time hurt him. That's why he's dropping. Nobody's talking about Jake Ferguson because he ran a bad 40. But if you watch him in that Senior Bowl and you watch his tape, he's a damn good player. He's a damn good player. Yep. And everybody's jumping. Just in case some point, you just mentioned it, Tuck. Jelani Woods, who everybody's talking about.
He took his shirt off here. Everybody said, "Woo!"
Like this had one decent year. He ain't get nothing, dog. And everybody's like, and once he had that time, everybody was like, "Let's get Jelani Woods."
He said, "You see what he did to that blocking dummy?" I'm like, bro,
he ain't this tape. He ain't did nothing, bro. He had one daggone year. You feel what I'm saying? Like my thing is, if you're gonna do that, I like the kid. Chigo Azim, Okunwo, I can't
Right,
know if that's
yeah,
his last
out of
name
Maryland.
from Maryland.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran a 4.5.
Right.
And if you look at his tape, I don't see too much of a difference between him and Woods.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you see 6'7", 245 with that type of speed that Woods put on, but where's it on the field? When the cleats come on, you know what I'm saying? When the shoulder pads on, it don't look that good. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's other players also. You can talk about Charlie Collier out of Iowa, who I like.
Yeah.
You know, they can do something different. I just feel like the Dallas Cowboys have always had these big, kind of slow, blocky,
Slow tight end,
Jason Witten type mode. And people are like, oh, well, I love Jason Witten, but it's just like, all right, the game is changing. And you need a tight end that can do a lot. Man, I know how you was ready to get Witten up out of there, man. You ready to get Witten up out of there, man.
I know.
You know, but if you get an Isaiah because here's the thing, if you get me an Isaiah Likely,
oh my God,
you can sit on wide receiver for a little bit. You can sit on wide receiver for a little bit.
Talk that talk.
You know what I'm saying? So the Cowboys was going to 12 formation a lot more last year in our offense. You can sit on wide receiver a little bit. Yeah, and so. You know, but we'll see how it works out. Now, before I let y'all go, Mix, I know we kind of coming up on time.
Hold on, I want to get on that Jelani Woods.
Oh, go ahead. Come on.
Just real quick, just on Jelani Woods, I do get it because you see the 4.61, you see the dude that jumped out the gym. You also will be matching him to a coach that has used all the tight ends that he's ever coached. Right. So we've seen that, like even the tight end out of the Giants, I can't remember his name.
Evan Ingram,
best years is with our coach. You know what I'm saying? So when you match him with the type of coaching we have over here at Dallas, I could see where you would take on a project like that. But I think people are ignoring the stiffness in his game.
Right.
He's very stiff. He does have a big catch radius. And I want to also talk positive about him too, because he can block. And the way that they used him at Virginia, I really watched how they used him. They used him exactly like they used Schultz, where he's a guy that go find them soft spots in the zone. He's go sit down, he go turn around and catch the ball. So somebody that can make a transitionally easily into our offense, because you also can't do that unless you're good at reading defenses. You got to know really quick when it's cover 2, when it's cover 3, when it's man, and you got to know exactly what to do in those scenarios and be right every time if Dak is going to use you as that outlet. So he could do that because he was doing that at Virginia.
I agree.
Another plus about Jelani Woods is I got him as my 6th tight end, or maybe 7th, is he's a fantastic red zone target. That's why he had 8 touchdowns. So you get a stiff blocking tight end, but you get a guy that you can go to in the red zone and be a true mismatch, like a true one, and make plays down there.
I agree, and I feel like what our Achilles heel was, teams didn't have, because we really have any over top threat, and they sit and they just sit on Dalton. Let him take the underneath because they didn't fear the yak when it comes to Dalton Schultz. Like, hey, you can sit up under a cover 2 or the soft zone, take these little soft catches, and we'll give that to you. But if you get a player that got some wiggle to him, all right, it changes things a little bit. So, I would like to add a Greg Dulcich or a Trey McBride or Isaiah Likely to this offense. I think it's it'll be great for Dallas. More explosiveness.
We need explosiveness.
This offense will look, bro, like with a Jalen Watermile, even a Jay Ferguson, bro, like Isaiah Likely, those 3.
It changed.
Oh man,
it changed.
Dog, it would look so good because those guys bring you a lot more yak. You know what I mean? And you you would easily be able to move on from Schultz. It would be like Schultz who.
Yeah, right. And it save you money, Stephen Jones, if you're listening. So as we talked about earlier, we all know the situation with Kelvin Joseph. I want to go quickly in the corner. Where do you think now corner becomes a priority? Is it first round priority like some are saying? I don't think so, because I think Anthony Brown, I think Jordan Lewis is still solid. You have Nashawn Wright still emerging. You still have Maurice Candidate, who had a great camp. So we got some players there. But where do you think the priority for corner comes? I'll start with you, Big Game.
Ooh, wait. Just thinking about it's so crazy because this Joseph thing. I'm gonna say, if from me, I'm gonna still say like around a fourth. I don't feel like you still have to jump out there because you had Anthony Brown coming off a career year, had his best year. Jordan Lewis, really, if you look at besides his first year he came in the league, had his second best statistical year. And I think that's another year of Dan Quinn in the defense. And like you said, we had Nashawn Wright, mom on the show. We got to give him a chance. You got to see what you have in him. You drafted him higher, and a lot of people are like, oh, you reached for him. Well, you drafted him, third round? He got to play this year. He got to show something this year. So I still don't feel like you got to jump out there. You just mentioned Maurice Kennedy. Heck, you never know if they may get somebody on. I just don't feel like you still have to jump out there and say, oh, shoot, Kelvin Joseph gone. Now we got to go get a corner first round. I don't feel like you still have to do that because you still have enough depth and you can still maybe get a solid corner in a later round. And I still feel like you have other things that you need to kind of take care of. And corner still is kind of okay in my opinion because if we're looking at the veterans we have, I don't think they're trash.
Right. Now, boss, I see you smiling over there, and we talked about this on the phone, my guy. So
he's a corner.
You a corner. So
he's a corner.
I trust you.
That's why
I did start smiling. Did I give it away, dog?
I know what's happening. So let's play it out. Here we are at 24.
Damn Stingley.
Yeah. And Stingley slides to us. We had this conversation a minute ago.
Oh my God!
What you doing, boss? Stingley slides to us.
Lord. Oh, all right. So if Stingley
floor is yours.
Well, first things first. Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys for last year's draft because the foresight to get Nashawn Wright to be insurance or boss man is genius at this point.
Right.
And it's also why we not in a panic, and nor should we be.
Right.
Because at this point, it was starting to look like one of those guys was going to be an over pick.
Because remember, Nashawn got off to the hot start in camp. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And is that super hot start?
Yeah.
Super hot start.
Right.
And we could also say this. You know, this is where I was all the way team Coach Marvin on trade Anthony Brown up until the news of Boss Man. Because of the insurance of Nashawn Wright. You know what I mean? I was like, you got to get those guys developing now. Like I didn't want to go through another year of Boss Man and Nashawn on special teams.
Right.
It's like I don't want to see a whole nother year of Nashawn getting all these interceptions at training camp and then get put on the bench for more dust. No, man, put that boy out there and let him cook. Right. You know what I mean? But now he now gets a chance to actually compete for a premium position, right? And because of that pick of last year, because of moving down to be able to get him, now we can still sit back and not have a panic mode at corner, you know? So the question on Stingley, and I've been warning, like the 2 video breakdowns I've done from the 22.
Yeah, check out them videos, man.
Oh my God, bro, was on Stingley. Because the tea leaves are looking like he go foul. Even with the 4.37, it's looking like he go foul because his film against Bama was so bad. And like a lot of people been mad at me, big, they been mad at me. They been going on my channel. I don't like your analysis on Stingley. I think you didn't measure that Kool-Aid, boss. I said, listen, I put 2 packs of Kool-Aid, 2019 and 2020. Both of them stank, okay? And listen, y'all, if you go grade any athlete, the best thing you want to do, if you're talking about a first round Stingley, go look at him against other obvious NFL receivers. And then if he's at least winning 50%, okay, I feel cool. If he's getting worked consistently, bro, that's major boom or bust. He got the athleticism, but bro, I see major entitlement on him. Now, what could happen in Dallas could be different. Maybe you put him with the Al Harris, who coaches him up and molds that athleticism, pulls out that entitlement, makes him much better against the run. Because if you really want to see some stuff that's going to aggravate you, go look at my video breakdowns and look at him against the run. Bro, it is pathetic, bro. It's a disservice to the cornerback honor code, big dog.
That's the thing, man, because Boss Man love to hit, man.
God damn, us, man. Yeah, see, we get mad in that, because he had the physicality that we all wanted. the size, the physicality, and we saw toward the end of the year, especially those last 3 games. You remember when we were talking about it, boss, where I said, hey, you just need to start him in the playoffs, dog. What are you really going to lose? Because in those 2 games, you saw him being sticky, what we talked about.
Yep.
I said he wasn't going to be a playmaking type corner like Trevin Diggs. He was going to be the sticky body type corner. He was going to bully ball you. He was going to be the bully corner, and you had Trevin Diggs, who was going to be your playmaking corner, and it would have fit so lovely. Like those pieces, those pieces, them pieces was going to fit.
Say my name in there too, dog, because I'm the one giving you that.
I know you did. I know you did. But you know him. Tuck and Boss had that.
Yeah, hey, I don't want no problem with Boss Man.
I said Tuck and Boss Man was kicking it. They was kicking it.
Hey, don't put me in that, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Annoying Boss Man.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Real talk. I was ready to annoy Boss Man. I still am.
Me too. I just made the Twitter. Didn't you see the Twitter post? And I said, year 2, this should be the year, because Cheeto was the starter as a second rounder. Diggs was the starter as a second rounder. Now this is time for Boss Man to take over that spot, and it would have made this defense, woo-wee.
I was excited.
Now here we are.
I see a comment that's real. So Professor says, Stingley's training with my guy Oliver OD3. He'll be ready to go. See, I know this from playing corner. Sometimes that's all you need is one off season with a good coach, and it really will change your whole game. That's the honest to God facts, bro. So if we did get a Stingley, that's what I would have hope in, is that he has changed his training, and he's trained, because I saw some technical things that you can't have in your game on the next level. Like double stops. Like, a lot of people don't talk about that, but like when you're a cornerback where you have to break with 2 stops, people like D. Smith who go come out they breaks in 1, they go get separation every time. People like Cooper who plant and go with explosion, it's over.
Right. So
you got to clean him up technically. He can't reach with the wrong hand. He was doing stuff like that. Like, yeah, you get away with it at LSU because you the 4-3 guy, you the 6'1 guy, you just bigger, faster than them little dudes. But then when you get into the league, everybody 4'4", 4'3", everybody explosive, everybody got these different gears. So it's the person that's technically sound that's gonna be able to really match up. That's why it was right for people to be high on Surtain. And how what's my other corner from last year? Horn. Because see, technically, and then Horn was a better competitor. Mm-hmm. Like, Horn was competing his ass off just to be the number 1 corner.
Right.
Like, he tried to break his whole neck to get that vertical. Right. You know, you don't see that with Stingley. You know. So hopefully working with Professor Old Guy does make him an asset. But to be honest, he should drop.
He should drop because it's been a while. Hey, Life's Crazy, appreciate the super chat. He said, wouldn't mind defense first 2 rounds, tight end in third. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. We'll see.
I wouldn't be minded.
But hey, my guys, man, I'm gonna let y'all go, man. I appreciate y'all coming on. We gotta do this again because we got defensive tackles to talk about. We can get the edges, so we got to run it back and definitely do this again. Like I said, my guys is one of the most knowledgeable when it comes to this NFL draft stuff. They do their research. They trust their eyes over everything. And that's what I respect the most. But for the people seeing it for the first time, Boss Cowboy, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, man, Boss Cowboy Sports, man, especially on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. That's where you can find me, and that's where to follow me. And Tuck, anytime you on the drive, please.
Yeah, you know, hey, I don't mind driving, you know what I'm saying? You know, I appreciate y'all coming on. Big game, let them know where they can find you.
Hey, just like Boss Cowboy said, you know, it's mostly there on YouTube, but I got the Facebook page. You got to do is type in Big Game James, Twitter, all 3 of those platforms. Just type in Big Game James. Hey, we're talking Cowboys football. I will say, if you come over here, I try to bring as much information as possible for you to his information channel.
Super information channel.
Come holler at me.
Exactly.
Man, he got you on that.
Exactly. Knowledge. Drop that fire. And for y'all looking to find me, man, just Google J Tuck and Brittany Rayner. You'll find me, though. You know what
I almost hit my button. On that.
Yeah, this is J Tuck and Brittany Rayner. Now, you can find me JTuck151 on all social media platforms. My YouTube channel officially here, CFO Sports. Also, we're building a brand new website, so stay tuned for that. And y'all can catch me on 810 WHB Radio in Kansas City.
Shout out to you on that, dude.
Appreciate it. With my guy Darren Smith every Sunday morning. I'll be out there at the NFL draft covering, man. So it's gonna be a fun time. Whoever we pick, I'm excited about it. But like I said, we're gonna continue to jump back in. We gotta do this again because we got some more prospects to do. We gotta do a mock too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We like to do some
next
mocks.
time. Let's do the mock.
Yeah. We gonna pour some Cowboys, pour some drinks up one night and do a mock. So we'll definitely keep y'all tuned.
We gotta do that soon, bro.
Yeah, let's get on. We'll get it on the next week.
Don't be trying to do no mock after the draft.
Draft.
And we mess up and take some damn Sam Williams in the second and some Jelani Williams.
I'm be mad as hell.
Run it back.
y'all don't like Sam Williams?
No, I like Sam Williams.
Not like that, though.
Not no second. Ain't
no way, man.
I think you liked it, boss, where I talked about Sam Williams and his background, how he compared to Charles Tapper, dog. Yeah. It's real. Yeah. And when I see players and I hear about they first love was basketball their whole life, and then I just started playing football because people was making me, I get those are red flags to me.
Right. You really love the game. I know a lot of people fell in love because he looked like Micah, but nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, he ain't no Micah, bro. That's that great value Micah, bro. That ain't what we looking for, man. But hey, everybody in the chat, I appreciate y'all.
Real quick,
yeah.
You know, I got to get one more thing since y'all brought up Sam Williams. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you trying to break, but Sam Williams would go hard if he was a Cowboy, bro.
Man.
But I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Go hard in the fourth.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because of that 4-3, you can't account for everybody, so it would give him a lot of one-on-one reps to develop on, and I think he would take advantage. Anywhere else, I do smell kind of like a bus smell on him, but here he would thrive. Just my opinion.
Right. I agree. Dan Quinn will work with him. But shoot, how long will Dan Quinn really be here? We'll see. That's a whole nother topic. Like I said, subscribe to everyone here's channel, turn the notification bell so y'all definitely don't miss out. Like I said, we want to run it back next week, do some mocks, keep y'all updated with all NFL draft content. I appreciate everyone in the chat. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed,